Today, our guest is Robert Delamontagne. He is the author of Honey, I'm Home. Robert, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me, Marianne.
I'm so honored to have you here. Um, Robert, you wrote the book Honey, I'm Home, and I know there's a backstory to that. And so, will you tell us a little bit about yourself, why you wrote this book, and what it's about?
Sure. I was buying a house here on Marco Island in Florida, and I was talking to the loan officer, and she asked me what I was doing in retirement. And I said, "Well, I've been writing these books." And she said, "What are the books like and everything?" And so finally, she got up and closed the door. She said, "We have to talk." And she said, "My husband is just retired, and he's driving me crazy." And he said he's over controlling. He calls me on the phone. He wants to know where I went to lunch, who I went to lunch with. She said he's just making me batty. She said it's just awful. So I finished up the paperwork and everything, and I walked out, and I thought to myself, I really think I need to write a book about this, because this might be a larger problem than people realize. So I did. I had my first book, The Retiring Mind, is a sort of companion to this book. But what I do in this book is I basically try to articulate what is really happening between people in their marriage life when after they retire. And I use the Enneagram to determine what their personality types are. And then what I do is I predict the areas, because of their personality potential conflicts, where the problems could arise. In this particular case with the loan officer, her husband was a perfectionist. And when a perfectionist gets under pressure, they become over controlling. So every one of the Enneagram types have a negative aspect of it when they're under pressure. So that's how I wrote the book, and I hope it really helps a lot of people.
I think I hear that a lot from people when they say, "Oh, I retired and now my husband's bored. He's not, he's never had really any hobbies or anything because he's always been a workaholic. And now he's home all the time." And like you just said, he's asking all these questions and stuff. And to the wife, or maybe to the husband, depending on, which was the workaholic in their family, they're doing their normal life, but the other person's so bored because they're used to being at work, right?
Right.
And now they have all this spare time and they're not sure what to do. So does the book give
Well,
them any ideas of what they could be doing?
well, when a marriage gets under conflict like this, say when one of them retires and they're under stress, emotional stress, it bleeds over into their marriage partner. So that's really the source of the problem, in the sense that you're not an individual isolated from other people in your family. And so the bleed over effect affects the wife or the husband. And the kinds of people that have the problems are the one that have the supercharged personality types, because they're the ones that are high energy. They're accustomed to, being on the go, doing things all the time. And after retirement, everything just slows down, and their engine is still revving, and there's nothing for them to do.
Right. So who would be the best person to buy this book?
Well, I would say that, number one, a lot of people that have purchased this book, surprisingly, are the children of the parents that they see going through conflict. That'd be one. Obviously, I've been receiving large orders from book clubs where they sit around and they talk about this issue, and they can also take the questionnaire to determine their psychological type, which is also extremely helpful.
So is it the wives sitting around in the book clubs reading this about their husbands, or are husbands involved? Because I know a lot of men are really leery about sharing their feelings.
Right. My suspicion, I don't have proof of this, but I think it's more the wives and the children that are buying the books.
They're trying to find the solution for
Right.
the father or their husband.
Totally, conflict resolution is the purpose.
Okay. So Robert, thank you for sharing that with us. When somebody finishes this book and they put it down, if they only had one thought about this book, what do you hope that they would take away from this book?
I understand my spouse better.
Perfect. All right, Robert. Thank you so much
Okay.
for sharing your information about your book today.
Thank you.
I wish you
Thank you.
all the best success with it.
Thank you.